Hey friends, so welcome to a very unexpected reading vlog. After watching the BBC adaptation of Normal People, I knew that I wanted to reread the book by Sally Rooney quite soon after seeing the TV programme, as I did read it sort of earlier this year and I ended up giving it 3 stars, which I recently upped to 4 after watching the TV programme, but I kind of want to re-experience the book after seeing the TV show. And I was talking to Charr from Thoroughly Enjoyed Books, who also wanted to reread it, and she ordered it from the library and it came in, so we decided that today we are both going to spend the day rereading Normal People by Sally Rooney. It's about 12:30 in the afternoon. I haven't been vlogging much this morning because my hair was super greasy and I really needed to have a bath, but this morning I have managed to read 72 pages of this, as I'm trying to read it in sort of 50-page intervals to kind of break it up throughout the day. It's only 266 pages, so hopefully I can read this in an entire day, and I feel like reading it in a 24-hour period will sort of reignite my love for this book and just give me a completely different reading experience from when I read it earlier in the year. So I thought I would just update you with where I'm at, what I'm doing, and see how the rest of the day goes. I am just about to go out for a walk with my mum, and luckily I'm not working today, so I can just dedicate my day to reading. But I have read 72 pages, had a bath, and I'm about to go for a walk. But I'll check back in with you when I've done a bit more reading when I get back. I am back from my walk and I'm just so sleepy. It's just really knackered me out. I feel like I'd go for a nap. But I should probably have some lunch now, and I did manage to post my daily photo on Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, I will link all of my things in the description box, because I have started a dedicated Instagram to like books, and I've got a theme and everything now, so I like that, and I would like some more followers, so shameless plug, but description box for that if you want to go and check that out. But yes, I'm gonna go make myself some lunch now and then carry on reading. Update on my reading for Normal People. It's about 3:30 in the afternoon and I'm on page 101 of 266. Like I said earlier, still trying to do it in sort of 50-page intervals. I've only just got to page 101, so I'm going to briefly put this down. I am really enjoying my reread of this. I'm getting a lot more out of it, and I'm reading the words and the voices in the voices of the actors from the TV show, and I'm picturing them, and it's just adding so much more to this story for me, reading it. And the speech in this, the TV programme, is basically word for word exactly the same as the book, which me and Charr have been like texting each other being like, oh my god, I didn't realise it was literally word for word exactly the same. So we're very impressed with that. But like I said, as I've been reading quite a bit of this, I want to put this down just briefly to try and finish the other book that I'm kind of currently reading. So I'm going to hopefully finish the last 30 or so pages I have of The Million Pieces of Nina Gill, just to give me a little bit of a break from the story of Normal People, so that when I do go back to reading the next 50 pages I'm more into the story. So yes, that's what I'm going to do now. So it's about 10 o'clock at night. I've just messaged Charr and we've decided to turn this into a 48-hour readathon rather than a 24-hour rereadathon for Normal People, because we're both not going to finish this tonight. I have tried my utmost best and I'm halfway through. I'm on page 136. So I've done well today, considering I've been really tired. And earlier, after finishing The Million Pieces of Nina Gill by Emma Smith Barton, which I loved, by the way, I fell asleep on the sofa and had a nap, and then I woke up, had dinner, and now I'm back in bed and I'm so tired. I need to sleep. So yes, I'm halfway through this, and hopefully tomorrow I can read the other half. And then at the end of this vlog I am going to discuss my thoughts on the book and compare them to my thoughts on the TV programme, as I have been also dipping in and out of a couple of the episodes for some of my favourite sort of like scenes in the book, to compare them to the scenes in the TV programme. So I'm very excited to discuss them both at the end of this reading vlog. So I will see you guys tomorrow. I need to get some sleep. I finished this, and no book has ever made me have that kind of reaction before, especially on a reread. I felt my heart, like, it felt like someone had reached into my ribcage and like pulled my heart out, but in like a happy, nice but sad way. I mean, I feel like the first time I read this I was expecting a generic happy ending, and this isn't what I was expecting or wanted. So when it happened I was just like, oh, I don't like the ending, but I guess that's the whole point. No. But after watching the TV show and rereading this, I understand the ending a lot more and I appreciate it a lot more, but my heart hurts. And now I'm just like in awe of Sally Rooney and her writing and this book, and I'm so glad I reread it, because I knew when I knew what the ending and the story was going to be, when I reread it, already having like, oh, I know what this is about now in mind, reading it, you pick up so much more from this book. So I'm going to have to go back to work anyway, because I'm on my lunch break, but I feel like my heart isn't beating normally, like I need to breathe and just relax. But a bit later I am going to sit down and talk you through all of my thoughts about this book, including my favourite parts and just why I love it so much, why I needed to reread it, my comparing it to like the first time I read it, and obviously comparing it to the TV show. And I'm so excited to just rant about this book and the story and Sally Rooney and just everything. Just everything. So it is time for me to give you a brief review of my thoughts and feelings on Normal People by Sally Rooney, and obviously the TV show, and just everything. So I'm going to start off by saying that when I first read this book at the end of January this year, I decided to read the book after seeing the trailer for the TV show. And from the trailer, I think what I was expecting from this book was a generic love story, sort of like what you get in One Day by David Nichols. So I was expecting this to just be, you know, a love story through the years, like a on and off kind of situation with a kind of happy ending. But obviously I was completely forgetting the fact that this is a Sally Rooney book. So when I first read it, and also because I read it towards the end of the month, I was trying to read it quickly to get it in with my January wrap up. So I was focusing more on just finishing it rather than, you know, really taking it in. And for that reason I completely read the book, not misread, but didn't really understand the ending especially, and this really amazing bond that Marianne and Connell do have. But rereading it, of course, especially after watching the TV show, it's just brought the love of this book back to life in me. And I would like to mention that after the first time I read it, I gave it 3 stars, and I did realise that, you know, I might, if I reread it now that I know what the story is actually about, I would probably give it a higher rating. So after reading it for the first time, I already wanted to reread it because I felt like I didn't get the right experience I wanted from this book. And so yes, the second time reading this, I got the experience I wanted from this book. So quickly, I'm just going to mention that the TV show is word for word basically exactly the same as the book. Where things have been changed, it's been done really well and makes sense. So for example, Rob is featured in the TV show a little bit more than the book, but the rest of it, a lot of it, is exactly as it is portrayed in the book. The only other slight difference is that when you read the book you get sort of flashbacks and flash forwards sometimes within like one chapter, whereas in the TV show the different scenes that in the book that you read at different times, in the TV show obviously you see it all at once, but they show you it twice sometimes to show you it from Marianne's point of view and then from Connell's point of view, and you can pick up the subtle differences. So obviously second time round reading this, I have given it 5 stars because I enjoyed the experience way more. I got a lot more from the story, from Marianne and Connell's relationship. So many layers in this story, not just about like their relationship and communication and so many other things, like the difference between like their classes, like social classes. Oh, just so much to pick out from this book. I think that the guy that plays Connell in a TV show has done a fantastic job. I adore him, and especially one of my favourite scenes is the scene in when he goes to see the counsellor and he's crying his eyes out. He should win like Oscars, all of the awards, all of the TV awards for playing Connell, because he's just done a really amazing job. And that is also one of my favourite scenes in the book. But I am going to finish by saying, letting you guys know what my favourite scene is. Obviously we have to mention the scene with Lorraine in the car with Connell when he tells his mum that he's invited Rachel to the Debs and she tells him to pull over. That scene obviously hands down is going to be a lot of people's favourites, but with me, my favourite scene has to be towards the end of the book. It's the summer holidays, I think, and Connell and Marianne are friends again after many highs and lows, but they both kind of want to be more than friends, and they go out clubbing, and then it's the next day, they're in Connell's bedroom, he's watching the football, and it's a really hot summer's day. And just everything about this scene. So obviously what follows is them kind of trying to discuss that they, you know, communicate to each other properly that they want to be more than friends and that they love each other. But because of all of the things that have gone wrong in the past, with them being friends, not being friends, being more than friends, being friends with benefits, like all of that stuff makes it like very hot and uncomfortable to talk about, because their relationship is very hot, because it started off obviously very sexual, and it's uncomfortable because they're terrible at communicating with each other. And because of the situation they're in this room, and it's a hot summer's day, and they're sweating, and Marianne is like, "Are you not hot? Can I open a window?" And I feel like the setting and the feelings are both hot and uncomfortable. So that was always one of my favourite scenes to read about. And when I watched the TV show with that particular scene, and Connell says, "Would you like an ice cream?" and he goes and gets ice lollies, and it's the bit when, for some reason, this is really random, but the bit when Marianne is like finishing it, but she doesn't eat the entire thing, and she puts the wrapper on the floor because it's a very small room, there's no tables, and then she puts the ice lolly on top of the wrapper, and all I can think the entire time is that it's really hot and that's going to melt and it's going to go all over the floor. And I feel like that's just really symbolic of their relationship. And that's another thing I really want to mention as well, is that in obviously Normal People, the book, Sally Rooney leaves in very minuscule actions. For example, like Marianne leaving an ice lolly on the floor, and Connell not finishing his beer, going to the sink and pouring the rest down the sink. You can really overthink all these things and see what they actually mean. And what I love is that they left those really minuscule actions in the TV show, which makes it just as good as the book, because these little minuscule actions just make the atmosphere so real and awkward and truthful, and that's why it carries across on screen, because they've left all of those really uncomfortable real actions in. So I'm not going to say very much more, because I feel like my thoughts are still very scattered, but all you need to know is I adore this book. It's probably going to be one of my favourite books that I come back to and reread time and time again. I adore Sally Rooney. The TV show is fantastic, and they've done an amazing job making it just the experience of watching the TV show the same as reading the book. And yeah, I think that's all my thoughts. I would also like to mention that this won't be the only Normal People / Sally Rooney video on my channel. There are a couple of others I have filmed that will be coming in the next couple of weeks or months, so you will be getting a full sort of book review and something a bit fun as well. So if you like content surrounding Sally Rooney, her books, and especially Normal People, then be sure to keep an eye out for my future videos. Thank you guys so much for watching as always, and I'll see you on Sunday with my book review for The Million Pieces of Nina Gill.